Ever watched Gold Rush and thought to yourself, man, Parker Schnabel must be swimming in gold by now? You're definitely not alone. Every time we see Parker on TV pulling out those huge gold nuggets, that question pops into almost everyone's mind: how rich is this guy, really? It's one of those thoughts you can't shake off, especially when you see him working so hard season after season. And today, we're finally going to answer that question once and for all. We're digging deep, literally and figuratively, into Parker Schnabel's fortune in 2025. How he built it, where it comes from, and what he's really doing with all that money. But here's the thing, his story isn't just about gold. It's about hard work, smart decisions, and determination that most people don't see behind the scenes. And honestly, some of the things you'll hear might just surprise you. So sit back, grab a drink, and let's dive into the golden world of Parker Schnabel. Parker's journey didn't start with fame and fortune. It started in the dirt. Literally. He first appeared on Gold Rush as a teenager, and even back then, you could tell he wasn't like everyone else. While most teens were worried about grades or what to wear to prom, Parker was out in Alaska working heavy machinery and running a mining operation. He wasn't just playing around, he was serious about it. And that passion paid off big time. Fast forward to 2025, and Parker's not that fresh-faced kid anymore. He's a well-seasoned gold miner, a reality TV icon, and a very successful businessman. And if you're wondering how much he's worth right now, well, let's just say you might want to sit down for this one. According to multiple reports, Parker Schnabel's net worth in 2025 is around $15 million. Yeah, $15 million. That's not just TV money, that's "I've earned it through sweat, mud, and sleepless nights" money. It's impressive, especially for someone who built it all from hard work, not handouts. But it's not like he just woke up one day with millions in his bank account. Parker earned every bit of it. So let's break down how he made that fortune. First up, the show that made him famous, Gold Rush. It's one of Discovery's biggest hits, watched by millions around the world. And being one of the main stars, Parker gets a solid paycheck. He reportedly earns up to $25,000 per episode. Multiply that by 20 or more episodes per season, and you've already got a serious income stream. But here's the thing, his biggest money doesn't come from the show. The real treasure lies in the gold itself. Parker owns several mining claims in Alaska and the Yukon, and these aren't small-time setups. These are massive operations that run for months on end. Each season, his crew manages to pull out thousands of ounces of gold, sometimes worth over $10 million. Of course, that's not all profit. Mining is expensive. You've got to pay for fuel, equipment repairs, crew salaries, and everything in between. It's a high-risk, high-reward business. But even after all those costs, Parker still ends up walking away with a very healthy profit. And here's what's crazy, he started mining seriously when he was just 16. By the time he was 18, he had already mined over 1,000 ounces of gold worth more than $1 million. Most kids his age were still figuring out what to do after high school, and Parker was already a millionaire. That kind of focus and drive at such a young age says a lot about who he is. Now, you might think all his wealth comes from digging up gold, but that's just one part of it. Parker's also a businessman, and a smart one at that. He's invested in equipment, land, and even production ventures. He's turned his Gold Rush fame into a full-on brand. Remember the show Gold Rush, Parker's Trail? That wasn't just a spin-off, it was a brilliant business move. It allowed him to explore new territories, meet new experts, and reach an even wider global audience. It's that kind of forward thinking that keeps him ahead of the game. But what really makes Parker different from other reality TV stars is how he handles success. A lot of people in his position would start showing off, buying luxury cars, giant mansions, and throwing money around like confetti. Not Parker. He's surprisingly down to earth. He's been spotted driving regular pickup trucks and living a pretty modest lifestyle compared to other celebrities. He doesn't flaunt his wealth, he reinvests it. Every time he makes money, he pours it right back into his business. New machines, better technology, more land, everything to make his operation stronger. That's how he keeps growing year after year. And let's be honest, gold mining isn't easy. It's one of the toughest jobs out there. You're battling harsh weather, endless breakdowns, long hours, and constant uncertainty. Parker once said in an interview, "The gold's the easy part. The people, the weather, the breakdowns, that's what kills you." That quote really sums up his mindset. He knows the challenges, and he faces them head-on. He doesn't rely on luck, he relies on skill, strategy, and the will to keep going when things get rough. That's the secret behind his success. He's not chasing quick money. He's chasing consistency. He understands that real success comes from staying patient and putting in the work day after day, even when it's exhausting. It's something most people overlook, but it's what separates him from the rest. Now, you might be wondering what's next for Parker Schnabel. I mean, after years of dominating the gold fields, after leading crews, tackling extreme conditions, and turning a risky job into a global success story, what more could this guy possibly do? You'd think he's already hit the peak, right? But if there's one thing we've learned about Parker over the years, it's that he never stops moving forward. Standing still just isn't in his nature. Well, rumor has it that Parker has his eyes set on something even bigger. Word going around is that he's expanding his mining operations beyond North America. He's already mastered the Alaskan and Yukon terrains, so naturally, he's ready for new frontiers. There's talk about potential sites in South America, and even whispers about opportunities in Australia, two of the richest gold regions on the planet. Just imagine Parker and his crew digging through the red dirt of the Australian outback or exploring untouched mining grounds in the jungles of South America. If any of these rumors turn out to be true, it could take his fortune, and his career, to a whole new level. And here's where things get really interesting. Some fans and even a few insiders believe Parker might be gearing up for something completely unexpected, a move into the investment world. Picture this, Parker Schnabel launching his own gold investment company. A business where everyday people could invest directly in his mining ventures. It sounds wild, but think about it. He already has the experience, the name recognition, and the trust of millions of fans who've watched his journey since day one. If he ever opened the doors for the public to invest, it would be massive. It wouldn't just make him more money, it would redefine his career. It's kind of amazing to see how far he's come when you think about where he started. Parker was just a teenager when he first took over his grandfather's mining operation. He had no guarantee of success, no safety net, and a ton of pressure. Yet, here he is years later, one of the biggest names in gold mining, with millions in the bank and a business empire that keeps growing. From a kid with a dream to a global entrepreneur, that's a story that almost feels unreal. But Parker made it real. And despite everything he's achieved, Parker hasn't lost touch with his roots. That's what makes him so different from a lot of reality TV stars. Even with all the fame and success, he still talks about how much he misses the early days, the simpler times when it was just him, a small crew, a few pieces of equipment, and the excitement of finding gold for the first time. You can almost hear the nostalgia in his voice when he mentions those times. It's not just about the money or the fame for him, it's about the adventure, the challenge, and the satisfaction that comes from hard work paying off. That passion is what keeps him grounded. A lot of people in his position might have gotten caught up in the fame. They might have traded their boots for fancy shoes and their trucks for sports cars. But not Parker. Even now, he's still out there getting his hands dirty, pushing through tough conditions, and leading by example. He's not the kind of guy who sits back while others do the work. He's out there every day, working alongside his crew, sharing in their struggles, and celebrating their wins. That's why people respect him. That's why viewers connect with him, because he's real. And if there's one big takeaway from his journey, it's that success doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of effort, countless setbacks, and more determination than most people can imagine. Parker's proof that even in a business as unpredictable as gold mining, you can build a fortune if you stay disciplined and focused. He's faced countless challenges, equipment breakdowns, crew issues, bad weather, and seasons that didn't go as planned, but he never gave up. He took risks. He made mistakes. He learned from them. And he used every failure as a lesson to get better. That's how he turned a teenage dream into a multi-million-dollar reality. And you know what's really inspiring? He's still learning. Even after all these years, Parker doesn't act like he knows it all. He listens, he adapts, and he keeps pushing himself to improve. That kind of humility is rare, especially when you've already made it big. But that's exactly why he's continued to grow while others fade away. It's also important to remember that Parker's story isn't just about money. It's about mindset. It's about staying humble, working hard, and never letting success change who you are. Every time you see him on Gold Rush, you're not just watching a guy mining gold, you're watching a story about persistence and passion. What looks like luck on camera is actually the result of years of experience, planning, and problem-solving. Behind every ounce of gold he finds, there's a story of effort and endurance. Now, let's talk about the question everyone always asks: how much does Parker actually take home each year? That number can vary a lot. Gold mining isn't like a regular job with a fixed paycheck. Some years, he hits it big, pulling in several $1,000,000 in profit after covering all his costs, things like fuel, repairs, crew wages, and equipment upgrades. Other years, the margins are tighter, depending on how much gold they find and how tough the conditions are. But on average, he still makes millions. And when you add the income from Gold Rush, his sponsorships, and other business projects, it's clear how he's managed to maintain and grow that $15 million net worth. It's wild to think about, but even with that kind of money, Parker's not living like a Hollywood celebrity. You won't find him posting pictures from private jets or luxury yachts. That's just not who he is. He's more focused on building something that lasts, something meaningful. He's creating a legacy, not just a lifestyle. He wants to be remembered not just as a TV star, but as a miner who changed the game, a man who brought respect back to an old trade, and someone who inspired a new generation of dreamers. When you think about it, Parker Schnabel's $15 million fortune in 2025 isn't just a number on paper. It's the result of countless hours of labor, problem-solving under pressure, sleepless nights, and an unwavering belief that hard work pays off. It's the story of someone who refused to quit when things got hard and kept digging, both literally and figuratively, until he found success. He's living proof that if you love what you do and stay consistent, you can turn dirt into gold, literally and metaphorically. And that's what makes his journey so relatable. You don't have to be a gold miner to connect with it. Maybe you're chasing your own version of success, building a business, working on a creative project, or just trying to find your place in the world. Parker's story reminds us that no matter where you start, persistence can take you somewhere amazing. It's not about instant success, it's about showing up every day, even when things aren't easy. Now, let's have a little fun for a moment. Imagine this: you suddenly wake up one morning with Parker Schnabel's fortune. $15 million in your account. What's the first thing you'd do? Would you head to Alaska, buy some land, and start your own mining adventure? Maybe build a cozy cabin in the wilderness and live off the grid for a while? Or would you go in the opposite direction, take that money and travel the world, seeing all the places Parker never has time to visit because he's always working? Some of you might go practical, pay off debts, help your family, or invest it wisely. Others might go big, buy your dream car, open your own business, or live a little wildly. There's no wrong answer, but it's a fun thing to think about, isn't it? What would your gold rush look like? Drop your answer in the comments, I'd love to hear your ideas. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Parker Schnabel's world, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets us know you're enjoying these kinds of stories. Make sure you're subscribed, too, because we've got more fascinating videos coming your way, stories about the real fortunes and secret lives of your favorite TV stars and celebrities. And if you want to keep the gold fever going, check out our next video. It's all about how much the rest of the Gold Rush cast actually makes per season. Trust me, some of those numbers will leave you shocked. You might even be surprised to see who's making more, or less, than you'd expect. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, success doesn't always come easy. Sometimes it takes a lot of digging, a lot of patience, and a lot of faith to find your own kind of gold. But when you do, it's worth every bit of the effort. Keep going, keep believing, and who knows? Maybe your gold rush moment is just around the corner.